Hey there, my friend. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat down to a meal and thought, is this really doing me any good? Maybe you've noticed you're not bouncing back from your day like you used to, or that afternoon slump feels a little heavier than it should. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. After 60, what we eat isn't just about filling our bellies. It's about fueling our lives, keeping our energy up, and feeling our best. And here's the surprising part. A lot of us are missing out on simple, delicious ways to make that happen. Not because we're doing anything wrong, but because nobody's shown us how easy it can be. I've been digging into this because I want us all to enjoy these years, not just get through them. Food's more than a habit. It's like a secret weapon for staying sharp, strong, and ready for whatever the day throws our way. Whether it's chasing grandkids, tending the garden, or just savoring a quiet morning, what's on your plate can change everything. I'm excited to share some practical, tasty ideas that fit right into your life. No fussy diets or strange ingredients, just good eating that feels like a treat. Stick with me because we're going to unlock some everyday ways to nourish ourselves that you'll wish you tried sooner. Let's start with something we all need more of: color. I'm talking about fruits and veggies, but don't roll your eyes just yet. I used to think a healthy plate meant choking down steamed broccoli with no flavor, and I'd rather have skipped it altogether. But here's the thing. After 60, those bright colors, think red tomatoes, orange carrots, or deep green spinach, are like little power-ups for your body. They're packed with stuff that keeps your joints moving, your eyes sharp, and your energy steady. And they don't have to be boring. Roast them with a drizzle of olive oil, toss them into a soup, or slice them up fresh with a sprinkle of salt. My neighbor Joan, who's 68, was a skeptic at first. She'd lived on meat and potatoes forever, and veggies were just a side thought. But when she started feeling stiff and tired, she gave it a shot, started adding a handful of berries to her oatmeal and some roasted zucchini with dinner. I feel like I've got a spring in my step again, she told me, grinning over the fence. It's not about overhauling everything, just sneak in a splash of color today. Maybe it's an apple with lunch or a few cherry tomatoes while you're cooking. Your body will feel the lift and it'll taste good too. Now let's talk about something we don't think about enough: water. I know it sounds so basic, but hear me out. After 60, our bodies don't always tell us when we're thirsty, and that can leave us dragging, with achy joints or a foggy head. Water's like the oil that keeps the engine running. It helps everything from digestion to keeping your skin soft. I used to sip coffee all day and call it good, but I'd still feel parched by evening. Switching to water made me realize how much I'd been missing out. Take my friend Larry, for instance. He's 72 and swore he didn't need more than a glass or two. He'd say, "I'm fine, I've got my tea," but he kept getting headaches and his energy was shot. I nudged him to keep a water bottle handy, maybe with a slice of lemon for fun, and sip it throughout the day. A week later, he was laughing, saying, "I didn't know I could feel this awake." It's so simple. Grab a glass right now, take a sip, and keep it close. Add a little fruit if you like. It's like a treat that keeps you going strong. There's more to this healthy eating adventure, and I'm loving sharing it with you. We've got plenty of tasty, easy ideas ahead to keep you feeling fantastic, so let's keep the good vibes going. One thing that's a game changer after 60 is getting enough protein. Not the giant steaks we might have tackled in our 30s, but just the right amount to keep our muscles happy and our strength up. I used to think protein was only for bodybuilders, not for someone like me who just wants to carry the groceries without huffing and puffing. But as we get older, our bodies need that boost to stay steady on our feet and bounce back from a busy day. The best part? It's easier to sneak in than you might think. Think eggs, a spoonful of peanut butter, or a piece of chicken that's not drowning in sauce. My buddy Tom, who's 66, learned this the hard way. He'd been feeling wobbly climbing the stairs, and his doctor said he wasn't getting enough protein to keep his muscles strong. Tom wasn't big on cooking, so he started simple. Scrambled an egg for breakfast or spread some almond butter on toast. "I didn't expect it," he told me, "but I feel sturdier already." You don't need much. Tonight, try a handful of nuts with your snack or a slice of turkey with lunch. It's like giving your body a little high five, and you'll feel the difference when you're out walking or playing with the grandkids. Now let's talk about something we all love, flavor, but in a way that's kind to our bodies. I used to pile on the salt and butter because, let's be honest, it makes everything taste amazing. But after 60, too much salt can sneak up on us, making our legs swell or our hearts work harder than they need to. The good news? You don't have to eat bland food to cut back. Herbs and spices are like magic wands that turn a plain meal into something you can't wait to dig into. A sprinkle of garlic powder, a dash of cinnamon, or some fresh basil can wake up your taste buds without the extra baggage. Take my cousin Ruth, for example. She's 70 and was the queen of the salt shaker. Her mashed potatoes were practically snow-capped. But when her doctor mentioned her blood pressure creeping up, she swapped salt for rosemary on her chicken and a little paprika on her veggies. She called me up, laughing, "I think I'm a chef now. It tastes better than ever." It's so easy. Next time you're cooking, grab a spice you haven't tried in a while, or snip some parsley from the windowsill. Your food will sing, and your body will thank you for keeping things light. And here's another piece that's all about balance. Watching those sweets. I get it. There's nothing like a warm cookie or a slice of pie to make the day feel special. I'd be the first in line for dessert, no questions asked. But after 60, too much sugar can leave us crashing, mess with our sleep, or even make our joints ache more than they should. It's not about giving up the good stuff, it's about enjoying it smarter, so we feel great instead of foggy. A little tweak can keep the joy without the slump. My friend Alice, who's 73, was a sugar fiend. Candy by her chair, cake after dinner, you name it. She'd feel great for an hour, then doze off in the afternoon, missing her favorite shows. Suggested she try swapping some of that for fruit, like a sweet orange or a few strawberries, and save the big treats for once or twice a week. "I still get my chocolate," she said with a wink, "but I'm not nodding off anymore." Tonight, if you're craving something sweet, reach for an apple with a dab of peanut butter or a handful of grapes. It's satisfying, and you'll stay steady on your feet. We're having fun with this, aren't we? There's more to explore about eating well as seniors, and I can't wait to keep sharing these tasty, feel-good ideas with you. Let's keep the momentum going. You're on your way to feeling fantastic. One thing that's so easy to miss is how much fiber can do for us after 60. I used to think fiber was just about keeping things moving, if you know what I mean. But it's way more than that. It's like a quiet hero that keeps your tummy happy, your energy steady, and even your heart in good shape. As we get older, our digestion can get a little picky, and those heavy meals we used to love might leave us feeling sluggish. But fiber-rich foods like whole grains, beans, or a good apple fill you up without weighing you down, and they're easier to enjoy than you might think. My pal George, who's 69, used to skip breakfast or grab a donut, and by noon he'd be groaning about feeling bloated. I suggested he try a bowl of oatmeal with some raisins instead. Nothing fancy, just warm and cozy. He grumbled at first, but a few days later he was beaming. "I'm not dragging anymore and I feel lighter," he said. It's not about forcing down bran flakes. Start small today. Swap white bread for whole grain. Toss some lentils into your soup or munch a pear for a snack. Your body will feel the difference, and you'll be amazed at how good full can feel. Now let's talk about something we don't always connect to eating: how we chew. I know it sounds funny, but hear me out. After 60, rushing through meals or barely chewing can make it harder for our bodies to get the good stuff out of food. I used to scarf down my dinner like I was racing the clock, thinking it didn't matter as long as it tasted good. But slowing down and giving each bite a little extra time helps everything digest better, so you're not left with that heavy feeling or missing out on nutrients your body needs. My neighbor Betty, who's 71, figured this out by accident. She'd always been a fast eater, but after getting new dentures, she had to slow down. Suddenly, she noticed she wasn't as gassy or tired after meals. "I thought it was the food," she laughed, "but it was me all along." It's so simple. Tonight, take an extra moment with your fork. Chew a little longer, savor the flavors, and let your body do its job. It's like unlocking a secret to feeling lighter and more energized, all from something you're already doing. And here's the final piece that brings it all home. listening to yourself. After 60, our appetites and tastes shift, and that's okay. It's your body telling you what it needs. I used to pile my plate high out of habit, thinking I had to finish it all like when I was feeding a house full of kids. But some days I'd feel stuffed, and others I'd be hungry an hour later. Tuning into what feels right, eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're satisfied, keeps you in sync with yourself. It's not about rules, it's about trusting you know what's best. Take my friend Clara, who's 75. She'd force down big lunches because that's what you do, but she'd feel sluggish all afternoon. One day she started splitting her meal, half at noon, half later, and added a little walk in between. "I'm not fighting my stomach anymore," she told me, smiling. "You don't need a plan. Just pay attention today. If you're hungry, enjoy a good bite. If you're full, save it for later. It's your food, your way, and it'll keep you feeling fantastic." So there you go, my friend. You've got a whole toolbox of tasty tricks now. Colorful plates, plenty of water, protein boosts, flavorful spices, smart sweets, fiber-rich bites, slower chewing, and listening to your own rhythm. These aren't big hurdles. They're little joys that add up to days where you feel strong, light, and ready for whatever comes next. I'd love to hear what you think. Drop a comment and tell me what you're excited to try, or just wave hello so I know you're out there. If this hits home, tap that like button and subscribe. I'm here to keep sharing ways to make these years the best yet. You're in charge of your plate, and it's going to carry you to some wonderful places. Here's to eating well and living even better, starting today.